time is now 4:46, and we have established quorum. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat is not in. Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Reading of the Disorderly Persons City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meetings. Are there any agenda changes or additions? Hearing none, we do have a closed session, and Madam City Attorney, if you could address that.
Good evening, Council. We have a closed session that the Law Department is requesting pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268E and H, related to the settlement in the case of Barton versus Neely.
I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
It's been moved by the councilman in the 8th Ward. Is there support? Supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 1 no. We are now in closed session. Did I turn my volume off? I'm here, but leaving at 6. Work on my bookmarks. She's here.
Which way? This way or this way? I'm that way. Okay. I'm sorry.
are the boss.
Davina.
The time is now 5:04 p.m. on Monday, June 23rd. I call the Special Affairs Committee meeting back to order. Roll call. Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley? Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer?
Present.
Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have seven members present.
There are 7 members present. I want to remind everyone that the disorderly persons city code subsection is still in order. It is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box was placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips were accepted after the meeting began. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is Mari Copany.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
Good evening. Let me start by saying resolution for in-home plumbing needs to be passed because the people here in the city of Flint, in-home plumbing is still messed up. The objective of doing in-home plumbing that we fought for was the state broke it along with the city and the federal government, and no matter how much money they make, it shouldn't be an income-based thing where you have to qualify to get your in-home plumbing done. Saying that, I put the people of Flint before me, but I still gotta tell y'all what happened. That EAGLE grant is the grant that Innovative Solution, myself, Faith, and Michigan United came up with Friday evening, Eric Oswald, who's the director of Eagle, told us that we had to have people buy in. So I started collecting signatures. Monday morning, I didn't have enough signatures, so I came down here and started getting signatures of people going into, coming into City Hall to pay their water bill. Nearly got mad because Faith would not take innovative solutions out of the grant. If you look at the grant application, you will see that their grant application is the same as our grant application. A bunch of lies. Nearly wanted credit for bringing it in. We came up with this at our communication meeting on Thursday. Faith, myself, and Athena McKay was working on
Can
it.
you please pause his time? There is some feedback in his mic, so it sounds like there's feedback in mine as well. And so it's kind of hard to hear him. Rich, please stop speaking out. Can you talk real quick?
What, you want me to rap? Here's a little something about.
All righty. Can we put him at 1 minute?
I'm not asking you all not to vote for the resolution because the people here in the city of Flint really deserve and really need. People in the city of Flint deserve and really need their in-home plumbing done, and they need a whole lot more. They need the Flint water crisis settlement money to come out also. That's another thing. Mayor Neely, since you're watching, you had the opportunity to tell them to give the people the money when you gave the $20 million for the city. Now all of a sudden you want to act like you're concerned about the citizens getting their money. It's election time. That's the only reason why you are saying something now. You have been in Governor Whitmer's pocket ever since he's been in office. Cynthia Neely, you could have spoke out and got money for the people here in the city of Flint for their in-home plumbing instead of trying to get $25 million for an organization that does not even exist. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk. And there's still some feedback in that mic that makes it, when they're talking, it's echoing, so it's hard for you to hear them.
I'll try and switch the mic when I get a chance.
Okay. Next public speaker.
Next speaker is Doug Matthews.
Hello, everyone. My name is Doug Matthews. I'm a veteran and good government advocate from the 7th Ward. I'm here tonight to talk about character, because in the August 5th election, it matters more than ever. LaShawn Johnson didn't get ahead by cutting corners. She works hard, drives a bus, raises her children and grandchildren with love and pride.
Point of order.
Please pause the time. What's your point?
You cannot campaign from the podium.
He's not on the ballot. Please continue.
He's still campaigning.
He's not campaigning. He's not on the
He
ballot.
is campaigning.
The same way that others come up and speak to the
I'm
good
not
works of
talking
everyone
about
else. Okay, well,
Point of order.
your point of order is denied.
Well, I'm saying another one.
Okay, what's your point?
I'm getting ready to pull it up. According to the Flint City Charter, it states, campaigning, advising City of Flint property or during working hours. You cannot campaign. It tells City of Flint public servants and volunteers are prohibited from engaging in campaigning.
I'm not taking any money from
Please, sir.
Flint.
You said
Sir.
you're a good public servant.
All right, Ms. Burns, he is under none of the categories that you described. We will please allow him his time. Madam Clerk, please start his time.
Okay,
Through you, point of order.
Yes.
To you, to the city clerk, to the attorney, he is campaigning at the podium for another person. Is that against the rules?
This is a conversation that the clerk and I will be having. There are different rules for,
Please stop hollering out. We would like to hear the city attorney's opinion. Go ahead.
there are different rules for candidates, and there are different rules for non-candidates. So at this point, we have to look at what the campaign finance laws say in reference to speaking on campaign issues from the podium.
Thank you. And seeing as how he is not the candidate, and you just read what our charter said, he falls into none of those categories. Please start his time, Madam Clerk.
Actually said campaign finance, that's not in our charter.
So, raises her children and grandchildren with love and pride. She stayed active in her union, helps her neighbors, and earns the respect of her community by showing up and doing the work. When the city of Flint needed someone to serve as Third Ward ambassador, they chose LaShawn. Not because she's flashy, but because she listens, follows through, and builds trust. Now compare that to what the other side is offering.
It is his turn to speak. He did not boo when anyone else was speaking. No one else booed when anyone else was speaking. He will be allowed his time respectfully. Go ahead, Mr. Matthews.
The other side is offering big sleaze.
All right, so there is someone over here that's booing, and if I cannot determine who, several people will catch a warning. So, what we're going to do is be respectful of everyone here, allow people that are not in that area to not be blamed for your behavior that you have been asked to stop several times now. Continue.
She took government food aid meant for struggling families and used it to prop her own business. And when the fraudulent cards didn't work, she actually called the state and complained. That's how she got caught. Got some damn nerve. She agreed to repay $25,000.
Point of order.
Please pause the time.
He's using vulgarity and swearing, and you throw everybody out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm calling you to order, Mr. Matthews, for vulgarity.
Continue, Mr. Matthews.
I want the police to see this different.
Please pause the time. Why are we saying it's different? You called him to order, did you not? Okay then, please continue.
Some folks admire that kind of hustle, agreeing to repay $25,000 and not paying a dime. Because this race isn't about who can shout the loudest. Some folks don't realize it's about who we can trust to make things work. Not long ago, Councilman Pfeiffer said that if Big Sleazy got on the council, he would burn the rules. Burn them, not fix them, not follow them, burn them. He said it out loud. That's what the Snakebite 4 thinks of public service. Well, I'll tell you what LaShawn Johnson will do. She won't burn the rules. She'll respect them. She'll follow them. And she'll make city government work for everyone. This election is happening in the Third Ward, but its impact will be felt across the city. If you care about the direction Flint is headed, now is the time to step up. If you want to help, if you believe in what she stands for, reach out to LaShawn Johnson through her Facebook page. Let her know you support her campaign. Ask how you can pitch in. Because this city needs more leaders like her. And right now, she needs us. Remember to write in LASHAWN. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Reverend Matthew Hogue Smith.
Good evening, Council. My name is the Reverend Matthew Hoke Smith, and I stand before you today again for a second attempt to address the entire Council, to address the opioid and gun violence crisis here in Flint. After you conclude this meeting today, you will head to your month vacation. During this time, given current statistics that I was able to gather, there will be approximately 12 overdose deaths in the city. Under Article 3, Section 303B, this council is explicitly empowered to create special advisory boards, task forces, or commissions as necessary to address the pressing needs of this community. That obligation is not being met, not when we are losing over 100 beloved human beings made in the image and likeness of our divine Creator a year to opioid overdoses, not when gun violence is ending lives in our streets at an unforgivable rate. My demand, again, is simple and grounded in law. The creation of an opioid and gun violence task force fully authorized under Section 3, Section 303B of the Charter. You have the power, you have the authority, and most importantly, you have the moral obligation. But let me make one thing absolutely clear. This is not an ask. If no meaningful progress is made in this matter within 90 days following the next council meeting, if the formation of this opioid and gun violence task force is not approved, empowered, and made publicly accountable under the provisions of the Charter, I will exercise my right under the same charter that empowers this council to organize the residents of Flint in nonviolent, peaceful, and persistent action until this demand is met. We will gather, we will march, and we will fill these chambers. We will make the suffering of the city visible and impossible to ignore, not in anger, not in violence, and not in destruction, but in righteousness, determined love for the people of Flint, who deserve to live, not die on our streets. The time for silence is over. The time for delay is over, and the time for action is now.
Thank you. That's not going to cause feedback, right, Madam Clerk, with them being on next to each other? Not yet. All right, thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
I'm gonna have to skip that one. The next speaker is Amy Heckenroth.
Amy Hockersmith. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Mary Hockersmith. We seem to have some departments that aren't communicating very well between the fire department, the city of Flint, water department, the building and safety inspection. You sent a bill to her house stating that 1630 Wyoming Avenue had a fire on April 30th of 2022. It has not had a fire. I have been helping my mom in this situation. You know, that's what her children should do. I spoke to a Jasmine Green at the administrative department here for the fire department just down the street. I spoke to her 4 different times. She never returned my phone call after the second time I spoke to her. I called and called and called, and apparently she took a year vacation. Then she came back, they sent another notice. I said, wait a minute, I spoke to you. So I'm here to fight that. I have the paperwork necessary that says there was no fire at this address, and I would greatly appreciate that someone on this board call the administration building and tell them to rescind the bill that I have and not send it to collections. I'm not saying this in a threatening manner or being rude or ignorant or disrespectful. If it does not stop, it's classified as harassment. And when it becomes harassment, I'm gonna have to take a different course. So I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've contacted every department to the point I was at the city attorney's office because I'm following my chain of command, and I have a letter, which I only made 7 copies. I apologize. If you guys would like one of these, it states right here, record request 25-1024 has been closed. The closure reason supplied was, your request has been denied. The item does not exist. I've been to every department. So who can I get with after this to have this taken care of?
Can you hand that paper to the city clerk, please?
Do you just want just one?
No, I mean, if we run out, we can get copies. Can you just hand her what you have?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I thank you, and I want to tell you guys, it's been 37 years since I've had to stand before the City of Flint Council. The last time I stood here was for the fight for the fire department on Western Road. And I appreciate that because they have done an awesome job. But on the other hand, to hear the disrespect, and I appreciate you addressing that, I have never in my life, and you wonder how our children act like the foolishness. I thank you for handling that. I do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Sandra Jobin.
Good evening. First of all, I want to say that I apologize for what happened here the last meeting with the young lady that was handcuffed and literally smacked into the wall of the outside chambers, which I understand you have control of the chambers on the inside, but as far as out being in the hallway, I believe that there's no legality of that. And why she was arrested, I would really like to know, because freedom of speech we still have in America, still have. We're fighting for it, but we still have it. They're trying to take it. And she has every right to call anybody anything, and vulgarity is not one of the things in your charter that you have the right to shut somebody down for. So I've said this for the last 3 years. Where are the children? This whole thing is all about the children and what we're doing for these children. There's children being sexually harassed, sexually mutilated, and worse. They are being human trafficked. You talk about not wanting masters and all this other crap. I'm so sick and tired of that. You've never had a master. You've never been enslaved. It's just, you're trying to cause a race war, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Because if you remember right, the first one that was assaulted was a elderly woman that had her shoulder replaced. And it won't even come back up here because she feels that there's a target on her back. The police brutality goes from white to black to Mexican to Muslim to whatever. And I stand with the right police because I do have police officers that had lost their job after 20 years because he said the right thing. He said what was going on. And he lost his job over it. So I've asked the police officers, I'm sick and tired of hearing, I'm just doing my job. That's bullshit. The job becomes
Ms. Jovin, please
the
pause our
moral.
time. Ms. Jovin, please watch your language. Continue.
When the job becomes moral than what you can stand for, then walk away. Walk away. You had that woman handcuffed. She was not going anywhere, and you slammed her to the freaking floor. That is ridiculous. And I hope she sues for everything you guys have and more.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Flint, for showing up. After being slammed to the floor, being handcuffed, I feel that was something that happened to me as well. I'm wanting the police to understand that they have a moral values. They do have moral values that they're responsible for. At the last council meeting, we waited for over 2 hours without an apology. So when I came in today, there are 2 elevators downstairs that were being blocked on the floor where the police take all of the residents that they don't like, and they held it up, which prevented us from being able to use the box. Is this all a plan? Where is the maturity about all of this? And why are you taking the box 1/2 hour prior to even starting the meeting? Why? Why? $25,000 for Job Corps, and I'm gonna say versus a roof at my house using ARPA money. The University of Michigan said that they would house those students, those participants at Job Corps. Oh, and let me say, vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. And let me add, I too would like a hot water heater from the ARPA money. And by the way, vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. And I could just go on saying that, vote for AC Dumas and Miss Biggs. Vote for AC Dumas and Miss Biggs, because I am not a candidate. So I can campaign from this mic. Vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. I would like new siding on my house, new windows, new doors. I would like those things. And oh, by the way, vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. And again, Flint, thanks for showing up. That's what we have to do so you can vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. And we're not playing with words like ambassador, like it's with words, but you can vote for AC Dumas or Miss Biggs. And when you come up, say the same thing, because you're not a candidate. So vote for AC Dumas and Miss Biggs. Just keep voting for them. And then when we get some respect by not being held in hostage for 2 weeks like last 2 hours like last week, and then again this week, nobody says, we're sorry, we shouldn't do that, because you can do that shit at the end of the
Please
council
pause our
meeting.
time. Please pause our time. Ms. Taylor, I'm going to ask you to
vote
please
for
watch your
AC
language.
Dumas
So what
and
we're
Miss
not going to do
Biggs.
is talk when
Vote
you're,
for AC
that's your
Dumas
first
and Miss
warning.
Biggs.
That's
Vote
your
for
first, and
AC
that's your
Dumas
second
and
warning.
Miss
We'll see you later.
I hope
You
I
are
never
removed from
see
this
you.
meeting.
I hope I never
You are
see
removed from this meeting.
It's the rule.
Rich Jones, that's your first warning.
Don't handcuff her. Leave her alone. We know how you guys throw people against the wall.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Tanya Jones. Tanya Jones.
Not here.
Good evening. I'm Tanya Jones. I'm advocating for my son that's addicted to meth. I'm not here by choice, but I'm here by a blessing because my son opened me up to what's going on in Flint, Michigan. First of all, my son was subpoenaed for being groomed by John Cole, which is court date is July 1st. And I'm gonna be there. This is who was working for not Eric Mays, okay, because I miss Eric Mays and he's on my mind, he's a blessing. But for y'all Mayor Neely, this is who, I don't even know the man's name, Neely had working for him. Y'all want to push summer programs, make sure y'all look the backgrounds of what's going on and who's y'all hiring. He was right there for him. My son was subpoenaed. Now my son is on meth and been on meth for 6 years, which he had full-blown sickle cell. So my concern is, it's about all the people, not one person, not Black Lives Matter, not moving. I done found so much was going on within this community. And I've been going through it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going nowhere. I've been told not to come here. I'm so grateful that Savage came and held the same sign up for me. And she got arrested. But you know what? It's in the Bible. Sometimes bad got to work out for the good. Something's got to mess up to be good. This is just part of life. I didn't expect for my son to be on meth. I did everything I possibly could do for my son, move him away from here. And it's just so messed up that y'all do not care. Every time I'm talking, y'all looking down. My father is over Black Lives Matter, the chairperson. You think I would be here? You think I really would be here? It's other places I could be here right now. But guess what? My kids is all I got. Just imagine if it happened to your child. John Cole affected, the young one was 15 years old, a male. Yes, my son is gay, but he's mine. He's mine. God blessed him. God blessed me with a son. Okay, autistic son, and he's special. And I'm gonna keep fighting, and I wasn't gonna come back, but after I seen what happened to Savage, guess what? I gotta keep coming back, because guess what? If we don't have a voice, y'all gonna keep doing what y'all wanna do. And I'm so grateful for the ones that's here. Jared, right here, I can't remember, but it's only 4 that I'm so grateful for. And you right there, Miss Judy, you said them kids, they are squatters in that house at 1655. No, they're not. They live there. They pay rent every month, and them people are still there. I'm gonna do everything I can to go help get them out. Because you said that's their war, they're squatters, okay? I only have 8 minutes right now. But guess what? God sees all, and God's timing is everything. And I'm so grateful that my son opened me up to this. Y'all have a blessed day.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing today? The first thing I want to say is that a real friend tells a friend when they're wrong. In this city council meeting, if y'all continue to do the things that y'all do, and somebody get hurt up in here, I feel that all 8 of y'all need to be sued. And what I mean by that is, when somebody is given a warning that they don't deserve, that should be appealed, and it should be 7 people saying they don't agree with the chair. When somebody that you're cool with come up here and deserve 2 warnings, before the police is called to escort them out, all 8 of y'all is supposed to ask that, especially the ones that get along with them, hey, cutie, you know we good, but you know you did wrong. You know you gotta go. If y'all continue this behavior and somebody get hurt up in here, I agree with all of y'all need to pay your own legal fees. I'm gonna talk about the incident when the gun got pulled out in this room. That woman sat right there. And if Tanya Burns heard it, Candace Mouchette heard it, Dennis Pfeiffer heard it, and Jonathan Jarrett heard it. All 4 of y'all should have gave that woman a warning. While they were sitting in that back corner getting rammed up, they should have not been allowed to sit back there and get rammed up, but they were. There should never have been a gun pulled out in this chamber. But you instigate, you challenge them. I'm going to tell you something about these residents. It's going to be residents come up here that speak that you like, and it's going to be residents that come up here and speak that you don't like, and all of you guys are going to get attacked. If you keep behaving in this manner, somebody is going to get hurt up in here. And the blood is on all 8 of y'all hands. Once again, all 8 of y'all should have the power to give somebody a warning, and all 8 of y'all should be willing to give somebody that deserve a warning, and all 7 of y'all deserve to stand up and tell the chair you are dead ass wrong. Thank you.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk. I do want to say before we continue, just so that everyone can hear, no more vulgarity will be allowed at the lectern. So figure out different words. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Miss Anna.
Good evening. My name is Anna, and I'm an advocate based in Washington, D.C. But tonight I speak from the heart as someone who cares deeply about the youth and the families here in Flint. I didn't need to be born here to see what's happening. I witnessed youth riding in private garages, racing on rooftops, smoking weed, not out of rebellion, but out of neglect. What's more upsetting than their behavior is the silence that surrounds it. Flint has received millions in grants intended to help young people, but the question is, where is the impact? Who is watching how these 501c3 organizations are using these funds? Because what I see is a generation left behind. This is a city where schools have closed, teachers are underpaid, mental health support is nearly non-existent, and there is a lack of specialized programs and based in safety in schools. Meanwhile, the shadow of Flint water crisis still looms large. This crisis didn't just poison the water, it poisoned the future. Research shows that math scores have dropped and special education needs to have risen. The trauma runs so deep that even children who weren't directly exposed to the lead are still suffering from the psychological, social effects of anxiety, depression, stress. All of these impacts on how students learn, behave, and connect. Let's be clear, this hasn't affected everyone equally. Black children, low-income families, and young boys have been hit the hardest. The trust between families and public institutions has been eroded, and now some school systems that have failed them is overwhelmed and underfunded, fighting to support special education students without the proper resources. Yes, there's an effort in motion settlement funds, community programs, and a growing network and support, but this is not the time for slow fixes or surface-level solutions. We need transparency, accountability. We need investments that actually reach the classroom and the community. We need leadership willing to stand up and say, we will not let another generation fall through the cracks. I may be from DC, but this is personal. When any child is left behind, we all fail. And the young people in Flint deserve better now.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is Beverly Biggs Levy.
My name is Beverly Biggs Levy. I'm running for the 3rd Ward City Council seat. You know, it's a shame, Candace. You put an 80-some-year-old woman out of this chamber because she was calling Biggs or Dumas. Biggs or Dumas. But you let Shaky over here talk about us like a dog, and you never said, you stopped the clock for him. He has the right to talk. He has no more right than that 80-year-old lady. But you know what? You can't look up because you know what? He's white and she's black. So what color is you? let's make sense out of this. There's no sense in what you guys are doing, and you think it's right, and you know it's wrong. You put a 80-year-old plus woman because she said Biggs or Dumas. She said one cuss word. If I'm not mistaken, the other night, I heard somebody put on air where Liddell called Dennis a fucker. It down in the basement. I wish I had that tape.
Ma'am, I literally said to everybody, no more cursing at the lectern. Literally just said that before you got up there.
You need to tell your second ward lady that.
I just said before you got up there that.
Tell your second ward
your
lady
time is
that.
done.
I don't have a problem with that. Have a blessed day, because you're going to be wrong too.
Seeing as how that was the last public speaker, it is now time for council response. Members of the council who may respond once to all. Please stop yelling out. Stop yelling out. That's your first warning. That's your first warning. And that's your second warning. See you later. That's your second warning.
Point of order. Hold up, officers. We said point of order.
What's your point? Go ahead.
Point of order.
I literally just asked her what her point was.
I appeal the ruling of
That's
the
your
chair.
first warning. You will not yell at the chair. That's your first warning.
I appeal the ruling of the chair.
I know you want to get in trouble too, Miss Me Too, but it don't happen. That's your first warning. That's your second warning. You are removed. You are removed.
Figure this out.
Absolutely.
You're nasty. You a terrible individual. You putting out the residents.
Let the meeting over with.
Now you figure it out with your smart ass.
Yeah, she is cursing me out because she can't yell at me. But that's your second warning. You're removed. Ms. Winfrey Carter, you are welcome to stay. I understand. See you later, Ms. Winfrey Carter. Thank you, Ms. Winfrey Carter. The Fifth Ward thanks you for voluntarily leaving the meeting, Ms. Winfrey Carter. It is now time for a council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers, only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to speak during council response? Is there anyone who wishes to speak during council response? Councilwoman in the second ward, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So we just want to highlight a few things, and I would like to address Mr. Stanley Wood. According to our council rules, Rule 29.8.
Can we please pause the time? We good? All right.
Thank you. And thank you so much for everyone that decided to stay so we can handle the business of the city. Because at the end of the day, we all have a job to do. The 9th Ward thanks you, the 7th, the 4th, the 2nd, and also the 1st. We must be mindful of our council rules, which states, because I don't ever want anybody to get it mixed up what happens here. It says, any person at a council meeting may be called to order by the president or any council member for failure to be germane or vulgarity or for speaking in excess of a lot of time. The 84-year-old lady who got up here, she's been coming to these meetings for a long time. She was advised, ma'am, no vulgarities. She began to swear. The chair brought her the order and was explaining to her what was happening. She was refusing to stop talking. So then we go on to Rule 29.9. Any person who was called to order shall yield the floor when the chair have determined that they have been in order. So the point is, she was supposed to wait, but she refused to wait. So that's why she got her second warning. No one wants to throw residents out. We just want residents to be beholden to council rules in addition to our disorderly city person subsection, which is very clear. And it states that any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code subsection 3110. And any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given one warning. So we would like to ask you all kindly, if you would like to remain in the meeting, please be in order, because we will not have chaos erupting in these chambers again, or you will find yourself on the other side of the law. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response? Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response? Seeing as how there's no one else who wishes to speak during council response, I will take my time, even though the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward just stated what happened. Again, we can call you to order for vulgarity. Once you are called to order, you are to yield the floor. The person that was asked to leave was asked to stop talking several times and decided to keep talking, which is why they were ejected from the meeting. Now, with that said, it is now time for the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion. Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Make a motion to send consent agenda to council.
There's a motion to send the consent agenda to council. It's been moved and properly supported. Are there any separations? Seeing as how there are no separations, go ahead, Councilman in the 9th Ward.
Separate 250214. Separate 250188.
You said 88?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
188.
Okay.
And separate 250218.
He has to speak into his mic.
250214.
I have that one, and you said?
250221.
No, you said 188.
188.
Okay.
250218.
All right, thank you. Are there any more separations?
Was that 218?
That was 218. Are there any more separations? Seeing as how there are no more separations, the consent agenda will include Resolution 240189-T, which is to approve the lease portion for McKinley Center Genesee Conservation District Organization, 250182, which is the grant acceptance continuing professional education, State of Michigan Commission law enforcement standards, Resolution 250216-T, charitable gaming license, the Action Foundation. That is the consent agenda. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
I'm sorry, what was that?
5 yes, 0 no.
5 yes, 0 no. The consent agenda passes. Moving on to Resolution 250214. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
move to council.
There is a motion on the floor to move this to council. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 9th Ward, you have the floor.
Through you to whomever may be able to speak to this resolution.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I don't know who from the administration is here to speak to this resolution.
Is there someone available from the administration able to speak to the 2025 operating millage for the City of Flint downtown development? We can't hear either. It's too much noise in the hallway. So,
We do or don't?
they said they can't hear us. Is there someone here from the administration that is able to speak to this resolution? This is the resolution for the Downtown Development Authority millage.
I'm not really the one to speak to this. There was somebody from the DDA here last week. And I know that they're requesting it. I'm really not well versed on what they're requesting.
What I would like, through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Moore, what I am interested in receiving are financials for the DDA for the past few years. We've not seen anything.
Okay.
And we're being asked to approve millage and give other considerations to the DDA that require either citizen support or support from the citizens by way of other financial reliefs. So before this moves, I need to see some financials.
I can get you some financials. I'll ask for those. How many years did you want?
At least the last 3.
Okay. All right. I'll get you those.
Thank you. That I yield.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward, you have the floor.
I think it's important to remember that this millage is only applicable to those businesses that reside, that are contained within that authority.
That are operating downtown?
That operate downtown. I'm not sure of the exact boundaries, but it doesn't affect the residents, and it's only for the business, if I am correct. Am I correct, Madam Clerk? Or Madam, through you to the attorney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was your question, Councilwoman?
This millage is only levied against businesses within the authority, the DDA, correct?
Within the downtown area, yes.
And no residents are affected by this, it's just the businesses, correct?
I would have to defer to the DDA and what they stated from the podium last Wednesday.
Yeah. So, and this is a millage that has been going on for 50 years. So, and if we do not pass it tonight, they do not get that millage for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 1st Ward, you have the floor.
Through you to the attorney, did you say you have to get that information in regards to who this would affect?
The second question that Councilperson Priestley asked, I cannot answer. What my qualified statement is that those properties that are part of the downtown district are what is being assessed.
It's being assessed. Okay, but do we have any documentation or information that kind of assures that residents won't be impacted by it? Are you aware of anything like that?
No, I am not aware. The attorney for the Downtown Development Authority was here last Wednesday. I believe those questions may have been asked. but I will defer to the chair who presided over that meeting last week.
All right, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the first round of discussion? Anybody else in the first round of discussion? Anybody in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the 9th Ward.
Through you to the clerk. Clerk Donahue, this resolution we saw last Wednesday for the first time, is that correct?
The DDA resolution, it was introduced when you first had your budget items, and it failed, but it is a part of the budget adoption process, so it was brought back.
It failed when?
I'd have to look that up, but I think it failed the first agenda that it was on, but I'd have to look that up.
Okay. So we've already said no as a body to this.
That's correct. However, it is, the resolution is basically a formality when it comes to the millages, because the millage itself has already been approved. This is just a formality so that the assessors can, bill for the millage that's already been approved. So it really has to, it really needs to be voted on.
It was approved as part of what?
As a part of, when it goes before the voters, it's on the assessment rolls. So it's a millage that's on the rolls.
Okay. All right, I yield.
Are you yielding? So this is the thing.
No, it was 4 and 4. Or 3 and 4. Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Priestley.
So I'm looking at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and this is actually a TIF, a tax increment finance organization, increment financing plan. And and it is generally does not go against the residents, just the businesses within the taxing district.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe he heard that. I don't know that that changes anything for him. Is there a motion you would like to make?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a substitute motion to leave this in special affairs.
There's a motion on the floor to leave this item in special affairs. Is there support? It's been moved by the councilman in the 9th Ward, supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley? Is not in?
No.
Oh, there you are. I'm sorry.
It's due now, yeah, no.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
No.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Dr. Lewis?
No.
The vote is 1 yes, 4 no.
The vote is 1 yes, 4 no. We go back to the original motion. Councilwoman Priestley, will you explain what's happening?
I'm sorry, explain what?
Explain what's happening. What was it? I would like to
Oh,
take my
is
time.
it still my turn? My time? Oh, okay. So, the reason why I voted no to keep it in special affairs is because the tax bills are printed in less than 2 weeks. And we will not be coming back to council for almost a month. Those tax bills will be printed without this millage. So the DDA will not be collecting this money. And if they don't collect the money, I believe, through you to the city attorney, are we not responsible for any costs that they might need to have covered? The city?
We would have to look into that, but the DDA is a separate entity from the city of Flint.
So I just. Yeah, Mr. Moore?
Mr. Moore.
Do you know that? Or you probably couldn't hear, right? Wave if you can hear me. If we are not collecting the DDA millage, what is the date that we have to have it on our tax bills?
Oh, we normally send out tax bills about July 1st.
Okay, so if this is not passed today, the DDA millage will not be on that tax bill, correct?
That's correct.
And what happens if the DDA is unable to meet its obligations because we did not pass this tax?
Well, last year, or might have been the year before, the city of Flint actually contributed to the DDA to make up some lost revenue that they experienced.
So last year, we covered some of their bills ourselves. So if we don't, so any money that isn't collected through this millage, the city will be covering?
Well, I won't say that, but we could, you should expect a request from the DDA.
For the money?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I
right.
yield.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. Oh.
Thank you, not a problem. So you can't, anything you would like to add? Okay, moral support. I said moral support. All right. Mr. Phil, is there anything else that you would like to add to this?
One thing which I don't know whether it's legal or not is it might be possible to add to the winter tax roll, but I don't know if that's possible. We'd have to take legal review of that. So.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Moore. All right, so we heard Mr. Moore, and we heard the finance chair, and it is clear that this is not the first time that this has come before this body. It is also clear that we will be on the hook. Regardless if the DDA is a separate entity, it has been brought to our attention on several occasions that if we do not do what's necessary, then we're going to be on the hook for their expenses. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so just wanted to make sure that's abundantly clear. All right, so we're going to be on the hook to pay for it anyway. This is a millage that has been going for the last 50 years, and then I heard my colleagues say that this body voted it down, but that wasn't the vote. The vote was, I believe it was 3-4. So I just want to make sure that we're putting out factual information because it is true. This is the last meeting until July. And if this has to be done in 2 weeks, then we're holding up time. And so that's the reason why I did not support keeping it in special affairs, because it's going to be here for a whole month, and we need to move on this tonight. So I don't know if my colleagues need any more information, but we definitely need to move on this tonight, because at the end of the day, right when we think that we are saving the city some money, it looks like we're going to end up costing us some money by paying for the DDA's bills. And we don't need to do that when we can just enact the millage that's been in effect for the last 50 years, Madam Priestley. All right, so this isn't any new legislation. This is just a renewal of a millage that's been taking care of our Downtown Development Authority. So I would like to please ask my colleagues, if you have questions or concerns, let's get another round and get it out now, but we must vote on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilman in the first ward.
through you to Mr. Moore, how long would it take you to get copies of those financials to the body? The financials that was asked by Councilman in the 9th Ward earlier?
How I'm sorry, I didn't hear
How,
your question.
how soon could you get us copies of the financials?
While I was sitting back there, I sent a text to the DDA requesting them, so I'm hoping very soon.
Oh, okay. That's all I wanted to ask. It's definitely, this has been on this agenda a few times, and we definitely don't want to be having to pay out more money with a lot of other things that's going on. So I definitely would be in support of this, but I would like to also see those financials when you get opportunity to present them to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, is there anybody else in the second round of discussion? I think Councilman in the Ninth Ward, you're the only other person besides myself. All right, so seeing as how, I will go ahead and take my time. So the only thing that I will say is, Madam Clerk, can we, for our own records, get an official email sent to Mr. Moore that we want 3 years of the financials? Mr. Moore, can we make sure, today is Monday. So if we don't have them by Wednesday, I'm gonna come knock on your door.
Okay.
I'm
that's
going
fair.
to personally come knock on your door.
I've requested them already. I imagine I'll get them tomorrow.
Okay. All right, and Madam Clerk, can you please make sure you send that email request? And it's the last 3 years of the financials for the DDA. Seeing as how there's no one else in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to send Resolution 250214-T to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That resolution moves to council. Moving on to the next resolution, which is 250182-T. Oh, I'm sorry, no, wrong one. 250188-T, which is the approving of the $25,000 emergency funding Flint Genesee Job Corps Center. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
send to council.
Support.
It's been sent to council by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward, supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion in the first round? Councilman in the 9th Ward, you have the floor.
Someone from the administration that can speak to this resolution?
Seamus? I don't know, who else is there?
Oh, Ms. Ward is here.
Okay, there she is. There she is.
Oh, that's a cute dress.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Ms. Ward, can you provide us update? There was a court matter. Can you provide update on where we are with that?
Yeah, so to date, the hearing they had last Wednesday did not render any results. I talked to Ms. Nataki today, who is the Career Development Director at Job Corps. They are still at a pause. There is another hearing that they have on Wednesday. So the last update is they're still waiting to see what happened. At least from the location here, they now have 90 students that are back on site. They still cannot be removed, and no movement can happen for them right now.
Thank you. I'll yield now.
Anybody else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
So instead of the minimum amount, we now have 90 back?
Correct. So when we first came to council, there were 15 left on campus because all of the other students had to leave. After they received essentially the stay-in-place order, students were then welcomed back. So now they're at 90.
So we're at a question where what happens, because we're adjourning until the end of July.
Correct.
And court is Wednesday, and who knows what's going to happen then.
Correct.
So my thought is this $25,000 will only be used if we need to take care of those 15 students or 16, however many students there were.
Make it a point, want to put that word in
So, I think I'm going to amend this resolution to, include verbiage that says, only for unhoused, for students who do not have alternative residences. Or do you want it for the original 15?
So,
This is difficult to decide how to word this. Through you to the city attorney, I know we're making you busy today. What would be good verbiage to add to this resolution so that it's, if the courts rule that these centers can close, that we're only going to take care of those students who have no other place to go?
and that this money is to be returned to wherever, well, it can't leave from
It can't be
the
spent.
account. It cannot be spent unless those students need it. If it does, if the students do not need it, then the resolution is.
Let me look at the resolution.
Okay, I make a motion to postpone this to the end of the agenda.
There's a motion on the floor to postpone this item until the end of the agenda.
Between your time.
Is there support? It's like one item left. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported by the councilman in the first ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Because we have one more item, yeah.
We do.
Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Dr. Lewis?
No.
What?
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Murphy Carter is absent. The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no, so that motion fails. We're still in the first round of discussion. Councilwoman Priestley.
I'll wait till the second round to see if I get the language.
Is there anybody else who wishes to have the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the first ward.
For you to Ms. Ward. Ms. Ward, are you, let's say if they rule in the next couple weeks in favor of supporting Job Corps, which we're hoping, is it anything already in place before we try to make an amendment that you may be aware of, like any funds that's not being used for those students that's remaining needing housing and things, that those dollars will automatically come back to the city?
There is no funding that I'm aware of. So just, again, the $25,000 was what the city would put up to pay for housing temporarily for those students. U of M Flint allowed us to have space in their quarters, but we would foot that bill. No other funding is in place. And even with the students that returned, it's not a guarantee. Some of them are, just for point of clarity, they are in the process of trying to maybe finish up their program or even graduate so they can move on to other places. Still have the Housing Authority on standby that had mainstream vouchers for them, but those students have to have a disability of some sort in order to qualify. So there are other just resources that are taking place, but everyone is on standby.
Thank you. That's all. I yield.
Madam Chair. All right, thank you so much. All righty, so I definitely understand the sentiments of my colleagues hearing that they were told to come home. Some of the residents, they were told to, no, let me not call it home. They were, no, it is their home. Let me call it home. So they were told that they could come back home. And so the numbers grew, 80 more kids came back home. So they can have quality of life, food, and everything. And so we are just anxiously awaiting, because it looks like those 80 people, they're going to return back to where they're going, and we still may be on the hook for the other 15. All right, and so I'm not really sure. I support the language stating that they have to be homeless outside of some people that just don't want to go back to their mom's house. So I'm definitely in favor of that. So anything else that we need to know about this?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously the students that came back because when they exit the facility, they really didn't have a place to go, but they left. Job Corps was given messaging to invite students to come back, but staff feel insecure about that because they don't know what's going to happen. Again, this was in place to provide temporary housing. Even the numbers I gave last time I was at council, I estimated $3,700, which would cover 4 apartments, 4 students per apartment. That was for 30 days. The request was for $25,000. So, you know, if you did the math, it would still be sufficient enough to cover an adequate number of students while we still work to give them permanent housing or job placement or whatever it is they need. Also, for your clarity, Gear Up to Lead, who was the fiduciary that we reached out to, they were on standby as well, but they hosted a resource fair at the library on June the 13th. So Job Corps was able to bring their students in groups so that they can try to connect with some resources. But again, there is nothing that they can really do because they're also waiting.
Thank you, and thank you so much for making that plain. I'm totally in favor because we have enough organizations in the city of Flint that can take care of these students. I'm talking about in terms of getting them connected. And so thank you so much for your hard work, and I definitely appreciate what you have to say. So what do you recommend this body to do today? Because you're in the field, you're in the meetings, you're talking to the people. So I would like to know directly from you, what would you like this body to do, and how can we best support this? Should we move forward with it? Should we wait? What do you recommend?
My messaging is still the same. It's at the will of council. Again, the $25,000 say, yes, if we have to act, we can. It doesn't mean we will have to. But again, a lot of these students are in the balances as well as staff. They don't know what will happen. If we don't need the $25,000, guess what? It sits there. But if we do, then at least we can start moving things in motion to provide them with temporary housing.
All right. So you're saying vote for the money and stop playing games. Appreciate it. Because you're absolutely right. You know, I saw different posts on Facebook and people reached out stating that this body, that we don't care about the youth, that we don't care about the kids. Or I'll just say, because these people, they're grown. It's an in-between spot. 24. Right. And that's not true. And I would definitely like to show my support by voting to push this 25 small, meager amount of dollars. It's like my colleague said before, we voted for $25,000 to clean up vacant lots. This $25,000 here is going to help house and help our residents. So you definitely have my support on this, and thank you so much. And let me know how the second ward could be of service. Thank you.
All right, seeing as how I am the last one to speak in this first round, so I am in agreement that if the money needs to be there, it should be there, but I am in agreement with the fact that this language needs to reflect the fact that it's not just $25,000 that you're about to get, even if you don't need it. So the language in this resolution does need to change to reflect that. And obviously, the only reason we have to change it is because we can't postpone it out because something may happen in between now and the break. And so as long as the language and the attorney is working on it reflects the fact that this $25,000 is only if it is needed and not to be touched for any other reason, I think we'll be fine with that. That's it for the first round of discussion. Anybody else in the second round of discussion? Councilwoman Priestley, you have the floor.
Yes.
Could you read that for me?
So, under your "it is resolved," you can add another paragraph that says, "It is further resolved that pending a federal court ruling, that funding be utilized only for those unhoused students who need adequate housing.
Okay, I'll make that motion. I'd like to make that amendment.
Oh, are we saying the original 15 that we budgeted this for?
The ones who remain unhoused is what it's got, right? Yeah.
For the unhoused students.
But are we saying the
It
15?
should be just the 15.
It's just the 15, correct? Okay.
All right.
There's a motion on the floor to accept that language. Is there support? Supported by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward. This is the roll call vote to change Resolution 250188-T to 250188.1, adding the language that was provided by the city attorney. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Barnes is absent. The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no, so that point 1 fails. We go back to the original motion, and we're in round 2. Is there anyone who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
Thank you. So through you to the councilman in the 9th Ward. So what was your dissatisfaction with the language?
At this point, there are a lot of variables that are not solved for. And I believe if it came to it, this could be one of those things done like some other things are being done without the approval of council. So, you know, it's under 75,000. If they want to make it work, but I'm not approving this tonight.
Okay, so I'm through you, Madam Chair, to the councilman in the 9th Ward. So what are the variables that you're talking about?
At this point, you can call for the vote.
Okay, well, at this point, the councilman in the 9th Ward would not like to disclose exactly why he's voting the way he's voting, and this is what we're talking about. It's not about us doing things in a cookie-cutter fashion, but it's about us taking care of our young people here in the city. And who's yelling out? This is ridiculous. Now, we're trying to teach the younger generation how to act, but we want to come here and clown. This is ridiculous. Going back to the councilman in the 9th Ward, I'm asking the councilman in the 9th Ward, he said he's not going to vote for it tonight. Well, fortunately, you have a home to go to tonight. Fortunately, you're not homeless. Fortunately, you have a job. These young people, they're trying to get skills. They're trying to get their life on track because the government done pulled their safety haven. And so to hear that we refuse to vote on this tonight is basically slapping those people in the face, saying that they don't matter. And then stating that the mayor would just do whatever he want to do with it. It is our duty.
Request for information.
Okay, what's your request?
Do I have the same one vote that you do?
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear what he said. Not like it mattered. The point is, our job here is to do 3 things. It is to make ordinances, it is to provide funding, and it is to advocate for residents. We're here advocating on behalf of our Job Corps family. That's what we're doing here. The second piece is we have money to move so we can make sure they're okay, that they're housed, that they have what they need. And so not acting tonight is definitely a dereliction of duty because this is what they voted us to do. But I'll let the 9th Ward deal with you on that. As far as Ward number 2, I support this, and I support Job Corps 100%. And I don't take for granted going home to my house, having a place to stay, having a job. I don't take that for granted. And so I would like for the Job Corps students to have the same. So this will have my support regardless of how my colleagues decide to move. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one else in the second round of discussion, I will take my time. So what we have going on here, again, it's just one of those things where it is unfortunately an uncomfortable situation that none of us asked for because it was a federal government decision. I think that we all want to make sure that we are taking care of the residents who have that concern, and at the same time, we all want to make sure that we are being responsible with the city funding. I think two things can be true at once. And so, as my colleague stated in the 9th Ward, because this doesn't look like this is going to pass tonight, it will have to be a decision that maybe the mayor will have to make if something happens while we are on break. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Jarrett.
No.
Mr. Alamin. Dr. Lewis.
Yes, I support Job Corps.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
Yes.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no. Resolution 250188-T approving $25,000 emergency funding for Flint Genesee Job Corps Center has failed. Moving on to Resolution 250218-T, which is the prevailing wage standards for city-funded construction projects. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
9th Ward? Yeah. Go ahead.
I make a motion, we leave this in special affairs.
There's been a motion on the floor to leave this in special affairs. Is there support?
Support.
So we won't be able to hear because you left it in committee?
Oh.
It's been moved and
Well.
properly supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
No.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin. Dr. Lewis.
No.
Ms. Priestley.
Yes.
Ms. Mashat.
What are we doing? No.
Mr. Jarrett.
Yes.
The vote is 3 yes, 2 no.
The vote is, I'm sorry, what was that?
3 yes, 2 no.
The vote is 3 yes, 2 no. So that motion fails. Is there another motion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Move to council.
There's a motion on the floor to move to council. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Is there discussion? Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward, you have the floor.
Oh, just request for information, Madam Chair.
What's your request?
So who separated this?
The councilman in the 9th Ward.
All right, well, we'll definitely let him have the floor so he can take the lead on this.
He did, and his motion failed.
That's it?
Yes, so now
Okay.
we're on to a motion that we can discuss. Would you like to call someone up?
Who can speak to this resolution?
I believe Mr. Benton. Yes. Yes.
I missed who called me up, sorry. I'm not sure who called me up.
Hi, not a
Okay.
problem. So we are talking about the prevailing wage standards, right?
Yep.
All right, so can you just inform us why we need to vote for this?
A couple of things. This has come before, and there's a bit of a change in the resolution, just a word change, because the last time it came up, I believe the councilman in the 8th Ward had an issue with one of the words, and that was the word may. So you see in the be it resolved portion, it no longer says that the city may, because to quote unquote his term was that was shady. So we replaced that word may with shall to be more affirmative about the actions that the city would take when it comes to prevailing wage. So that's what I really wanted to highlight.
All right, thank you for that. And so why is it important that we pass this resolution? Because it looked like that our colleague didn't want to vote for it. So why is it important? Is it mandatory? Well, I'll say, is it important that we pass it tonight?
I mean, we are just looking for fair wages for workers when it comes to construction workers. We're looking for fair wages for our residents. We believe by offering prevailing wage, it leads to more disposable income, which means it will impact the economy better. Where people have disposable income, they use that towards goods and services. So that's what we're advocating for with this.
All right, so we're advocating for fair wages for local residents, so when they receive jobs, then they will be paid an equitable wage. That's what I'm hearing.
Correct, yes. And it's not something new. It's what others are doing. The county has prevailing wage. The other cities have prevailing wage. And we just want to make sure that the workers that work in the city of Flint have a fair wage, equitable wage.
Okay, so making sure I'm hearing what you're saying. You're saying that other municipal workers, other areas, they haven't acted the fair wage. And so we're a little behind the 8 ball, and so this will help us with our policies and our standards here in the city of Flint to ensure that we all can come to the table with a fair wage. So other places have done this, and we're bringing this to Flint so we can catch up.
Yeah, and it aligns us with state and federal standards. So Michigan Public Act 10 of 2023 requires prevailing wage for state construction projects, and the federal Davis-Bacon Act mandates them for federal public work. So we're trying to bring Flint back up into established standards. Correct.
Okay. So we're basically setting a standard so we have a prevailing wage, so our workers here in our city that we are commissioned to take care of in the city of Flint, that they will have a fair wage for a fair day's work. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
All right, so it definitely sounds like a no-brainer to me. And is this something that that I'll say that our union brothers and sisters that they support?
Again, I haven't spoken directly to our unions myself,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, this is again for workers. We just want to make sure that residents, workers in the city of Flint have fair wages. That's what this is for.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shamus. I appreciate it, and I would love them to have a fair wage too, because again, we need taxes, we need property, we need bill money. So I mean, we need for everyone to receive all of their money, so they can pay all of their bills, so we can have a functioning municipality. We must catch up in Flint. At the end of the day, we got to stop being so antiquated in our methods, in our thinking. We got to scale up, level up. And so if other towns are doing this to ensure that their residents have a fair wage, we'd be remiss not to get on board. This isn't hurting anyone. This is only helping workers. And it makes no sense for us to go against this. It's hurting no one. Only person that is hurting is poverty. And it is our goal to stamp out poverty, but we can't do it without smart legislation and resolutions. And so this would be a great idea. And I encourage, if any of my colleagues have any concerns, let's reach out right now. But we should be passing this so we can get it going on council so we can move on. Thank you so much, Mr. Shamus. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the first ward, you have the floor.
Through you to the speaker, does this tie into Section 3 guidelines with this fair wages and so forth?
I really can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Does this tie into like the Section 3 guidelines in which a certain percentage of individuals locally have to be hired for these type of construction?
I'm not sure. I'm not versed on Section 3 guidelines. I'm sorry.
Okay. What would be?
I would like to just add one thing, if that's okay. I forgot to say. This did exist in the city of Flint before, and it was emergency manager was the one that got rid of it. So it's not like, again, we are trying to get up to normal standards, but it's something that was here before the city of Flint.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
I'm a big advocate to make sure Flint residents get opportunities for like jobs and things, and prevailing wage could really help people come up out of poverty. So using Section 3 guidelines, that was a big part of that, so definitely. My other question, what's your thoughts on if this was to move forward, how would this help with job retention and stimulating the economy?
Well, there's research that shows that it leads to better job retention, less people leaving jobs. It impacts positively in the economy. I know a lot of the people that are so quote-unquote against prevailing wage say it impacts small business. Well, there's a lot of research there that says that actually small business and local businesses get positively impacted by this, because again, we're giving more disposable income. That disposable income is used towards goods and services within the community. So it's only, again, I will use the term no-brainer, like the councilwoman in the second ward said. I believe it is a no-brainer. I believe it's something that we should do for our residents for sure. And again, to catch up with other cities around us in the region that are doing similar.
All right, thank you for sharing that. That's it.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in this round of discussion? Anybody in the second round of discussion? All right, seeing as how there's nobody else in the second round of discussion, I'm gonna just take a few seconds just to simply say that I am in support of this. I do understand the importance to make sure that people are making livable wages, especially now that we're coming up against even harder economic times. I think that, you know, we lead by example, and so one of the ways that the city can lead by example is making sure that we are paying people good wages. And with that said,
May I just re-clarify one thing, if that's okay? So I still have time. I just want to again reiterate the councilman in the 8th ward, when this was brought up in April, was concerned. His main concern, he said he would like to see this passed. His main concern, from what I took in that meeting, was that word "may," was that language in the "be it resolved" portion. So we did what I hope he recognizes that. I know he's not here, but if he's watching, we did what I hope would appease what he asked for. So we changed that to "shall." To ensure that.
I mean, I do recall him, you know, stating that the wording was shaky. Like you said, unfortunately, he's not here to see that the wording change that he wanted to see has happened. All we can do is count on the 5 members that are here today to make a decision. Seeing as how I am the last person to speak in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to, did you want the floor?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to keep this in special affairs.
There's been a motion made by the councilwoman in the 4th ward to keep it in special affairs. Is there support?
Support.
It's moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 9th ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. This resolution stays in special affairs.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn on the floor. Is there support? So moved and properly supported by the council, moved by the councilwoman in the 4th ward, properly supported by the councilman in the 1st ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The time is now 6:39 p.m. on Monday, June 23rd. The Special Affairs Committee meeting is adjourned. With 5 minutes before we start City Council.
No more. Phil, you could go around.
You're not supposed to have that unipod. Again, you're not supposed to have the unipod. All tripods, unipods go back there in the camera area, just so you know, okay? All right.
Always creating problems. Lie, Shut your damn mouth. Wait, he didn't get any warning, Jack. All right. Now we have to I ain't lined out. Always starting shit.
All right.
There's Miss Disorderly Conduct right there. She's the poster child.
All right, calling all council members to their seats so we can start the city council meeting immediately. I do not.
on, Davina, let's go. I got a 45-minute drive.
It is 6:49 p.m. and I am calling this City Council meeting to order for the purpose of electing a City Council President in accordance with Section 3-201 of the Flint City Charter. Before that, I will take the roll call. Mr. Al-Alamin.
Present.
Dr. Lewis.
Present.
Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mushat. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett is not in. You have 4 members present. At this time, you do not have a quorum, so I am going to ask that this meeting be adjourned due to the lack of a quorum at 6:50 p.m.